The following program is brought to you by Wightman TV and Bruce Telecom.
Good morning. Everybody, you could just take a seat and sit down and we'll get started here.
There's a few seats over here for people who may
Now, if you don't have a seat at the moment, we're setting up more at the back here, the blue chairs, so we should have enough chairs by the time we're done.
more agendas.
So, welcome to IPM 2016 Volunteer Day. This is absolutely amazing. We were here yesterday setting up the chairs, and when we had them all set up, we went, whoa, what are we going to do with all these chairs? And it's just fantastic. Thank you so much. We're worried about the weather, but the weather cooperated. And people keep telling me, well, if it rains on Volunteer Day, that means you're going to have perfect weather for the match.
Yep.
I'm John Burgess. This is Wendy Lockwood. We're the co-chairs of the volunteer committee. And probably you've all talked in one manner or another with Wendy over the time because she's been very busy getting in touch with everybody. Just a couple of things we want to get out of the way before we get started. There are washrooms out this way where you come in, and there's more at the far end of the tent to your right. Now, the lanyards that you received when you came in with your name on them, on the back of your name card are an area to fill in for your personal health information. So when you get home tonight, or this afternoon, whatever, please fill that out. It's perfectly private, only you know about it. But if something happens at the match, we have information, doctor's numbers, contact numbers, whatever. It's just there as a safety thing. All the time you're volunteering at the match, please wear these lanyards. This is how you're going to be identified. Yes, there'll be vests for some, maybe not all, but we'll have these on. And then people who are visitors coming, they can identify a volunteer if they need somebody. And and service clubs, if you wear your colors or vests, whatever you have, then that's how we're going to identify you. So this should all work really well. On each of your seats, there was a safety manual. It has a lot of great information in it to help this match go off absolutely perfectly and safely. Please take the time to read through it. It's not long. And before you start any shift, your first shift, please just give it a run through. Then you'll know what's going on. Following the orientation, you're invited to visit Tenant City and see how it's coming along. And I'm hoping that we will have people movers here by then. We're working on it now because we got a break in the weather, so we're hoping we can do that too. So now we're going to start on with the agenda. Enough of me. First person I would like to introduce to say a few words is the gentleman that none of this could have ever been possible, and then has been most gracious host all along and worked with us wonderfully. And he and Earl and Ann Snyder are our hosts, our farming hosts. And I'd like to have Earl to say a few words.
Thank you, John and Wendy, for those kind words. This is just a fantastic assembly here today. I just never would have dreamt this in wildest dreams that there'd be this many people here. And this whole plowing match doesn't come on our shoulders. For any credit, it's all the volunteers and all the committees and from the chairman right down to people doing the little jobs behind the scenes. This is incredible. On behalf of the Snyder family, Ann and myself, and the kids and grandkids and everybody, I'd just like to welcome everybody to the plow match, and a great big thank you to everybody for everything that you've done and everything that you're going to do, because this is just getting started, and I hope we have a safe and happy week. And our hats go off to each and every one of you for everything that you've done, and we'd just like to thank you personally for everything that's and coming together today for this assembly. Anyway, thanks again, and have a good time. So thanks, bye.
Thank you very much, Earl. And now I'd like to welcome our warden and mayor of Minto and warden for Wellington County, George Bridge.
Thank you, Wendy. And Earl, good speech. Earl set the tone. I don't want to be too long either. That's right. But the good news is you don't have to listen to two politicians. I'm all into one. So that's the good news. Somebody asked me how the plowing match was going the other day, and I said, well, it's a little bit stranger than I thought. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I thought we were just going to invite 100,000 people over to Earl's 200 acres here. Everybody would bring a lawn chair, case of beer, and we're going to sit out and watch the plowing. But then as it went on, and Ron Faulkner's in the room here somewhere. You here, Ron? He's right here. Oh, right there. I thought he might make it here today. But then they started saying we need power, we need Wi-Fi, we need tents. And it became this huge event that we're putting together. And I look out around this room, and every year we have a volunteers appreciation dinner, and we fill our hall. But this is even better because I see a lot of people from all over Wellington County. And that's amazing, because this is what it is. It's a great opportunity to showcase Wellington County to the world. And it's all because of volunteers like yourself. You cannot put this on without volunteers. So really appreciate you coming out today. And I know everybody's going to have fun at the match. And I'm going to keep my speech a little. Oh, so my co-chair of landscaping mentioned that we don't have a little sign saying, anybody in landscaping here today, go meet us over at the landscaping trailer for our little meeting afterwards. Thank you. That was my commercial. But I really appreciate it. And Wendy and John, putting this together, and I know the fun you've had putting all the volunteers together. I think of volunteers, they're so needed, but they're like herding cats. And but it's amazing that they all show up today, and we're seeing this crowd show up. We're going to have an amazing match, because that's who puts it on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George. Well, after George and myself and Earl, I think we could take a break and have something a little better to look at. So I'd like to introduce the Queen of the Furrow, Catherine Chant.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say, wow, what a turnout. Walking in this morning and seeing you all marching in, it's really, it's overwhelming, like I wasn't expecting this much of a crowd. I'd just like to thank you all for coming out. It truly is you guys that help put on the match, and it's great to see a wide variety of ages coming out. And you're really, truly going to leave a legacy behind in your county. And I thank you all for coming and supporting this 5-day event, and I hope we really have some great weather. And I really hope you enjoy your time at the match. So thank you for coming out, and have a great IPM.
Thank you, Catherine. I'd like to now ask the president of the Wellington County Plowmen's Association, Dave Rogerson, to come up and say a few words.
On behalf of the Wellington County Plowmen's Association, I'd like to welcome everybody here. It's kind of overwhelming, the amount of people. I had no idea either. You've heard it from everybody, and there's just a big crowd, and that's what makes the match. Wellington County Plowmen's Association, it started probably, 3-4 years before. Now, we had this little vision, and we worked for 14 years, probably in between matches, planning or hoping to have another match. So we had a vision for a match, and it's really coming together. I'd like to thank, on behalf of the Wellington Plowing Match, Ron and the executive and all the chair people that have worked so hard to this point to get it this far. There's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's all coming together now. The fruit of all their work is going to start to come together, and it's all because of you people out there, the volunteers. And on behalf of the Wellington County Plowing Association, I'd like to thank everybody in advance for the work that you're going to be doing in the coming week or two. The key to this is to have fun and enjoy all the visitors that will be coming to Wellington County. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Now we have a few words from the Ontario Plowing Association President, Don Priest.
Before I start, I'd just like to appreciation to John and Wendy to pull this many volunteers together, something this big. I don't think there's anything in Ontario as large as IPM, and I think they've done an excellent job. So John and Wendy, thank you very much. And I'd like to bring greetings from the Ontario Plowmen and the executive and the staff. They've been working hard for the last 4 years. I don't know how the staff does it, because right now we're dealing with 4 events planned. You know, we got Huron, we got Chatham, we got Sudbury. Now we have a little bit of interest in Sunridge area, so it's busy for them. And this year, I think we've got a record number of plowmen going to turn out. We have about 155 plowmen, 21 juniors, and for the first time, we're going to have 2 sets of mules plowing and the horse plowing this year. So that draws a lot of interest. We've got a gentleman coming up from the States. He spends about 11 to 12 hours driving. He goes through customs with a big fight trying to get the horses across and the plow, but he comes every year and he puts quite a show on. And he's a good entertainer, so make sure you drop around and see him. And another thing, Catherine, thank you for that long drive up this morning. She's had some vehicle troubles with our vehicle, but she rented a car and she got here. And she had some real good luck yesterday showing an Angus calf. And Kathy says it's the wrong breed, but we'll go there. And I got an announcement to make for the information committee. You're to meet over at the picnic table on the far left over here as soon as the meeting's over. And once again, this is going to be a journey for everybody, and I'm involved, Ontario Plowman's involved. We're here to help you, and we're going to make this a very successful match and best for all of you. And we're all done. We're still going to be friends, right, Ron? So thank you for coming out, and looking forward to working with you all week. If you got any questions, track me down, or 1-800-Kathy works too. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Don. Now I'd like to call on our chairman of the 2016 IPM, Ron Faulkner.
Wow. I could cry at Kmart shopping announcements, so bear bear with me, please. I'm just so excited that you all took the time out of your busy schedules to come out here and be with us today and to start off the excitement of IPM 2016. With the good Lord's blessing, we will have, with good weather, we will have a match like no other. So, and it's all because of all of you. So please give yourself a great big round of applause. As mentioned before, we've been working on this for 4.5 years now, and I couldn't begin to say thank you enough to my executive. First of all, I'd like to introduce Walter Traxel. Where's Walter? He's still parking cars. That's just the dedication. And Walter has been a tremendous support for me, and I can't say enough, and the rest of the executive. And if I start naming people, then I'm going to miss them. A couple of the things that lots of people don't realize is that how critical the involvement is with the county and the town of Minto. They've just been tremendous in their support, and anything that we've asked to make sure that this was going to be a great event, they didn't ask when, they just said right now, good, done. And so my sincere thank you to the county, Warden Bridge. Please pass those comments on, and well, you can pass them on to the town of Minto too. I guess you're the mayor of that too. I would like to, at this time, acknowledge the OPA and especially Kathy Lasby, the work she's done for us, and in areas that we didn't realize that we should be a little further ahead. Kathy has helped us pick up the pace and put us back on track, and continues to take phone calls and messages all hours of the day. So Kathy, sincere thank you. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife Anne Marie and my family. Alex is parking chair, and Jonathan is assisting Paul Ziegler in equipment, and and of course Anne Marie's there all the time for me. So I just can't thank you guys enough. Thanks. And to all the chairs, the hundreds of meetings that you guys have organized and attended, and it's all coming together so nicely simply because of the efforts of you. And I can't say enough. One of the things, couple things announcements I'm going to make is Dave Franklin asked me to announce that the RV committee is going to meet over in front of their trailer, which is right out here. John and Wendy, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is we're not going to put the people movers out on the site with the rain. We just didn't want to create any ruts or anything like that. But feel free to walk the site if you would like. And because the education and quilt tent are off to education's right out here. Lifestyles and quilts right over there, and then the county's on the other side of that. You got to see that county display showcase. It's going to be something else. So anyways, please, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your involvement. Thank you for coming out today. And here's to IPM 2016 being the best match ever.
Thanks, Ron. You've been a great leader, and how you took this on, I don't know, because Wendy and I have 1/40th of the chairs, and Ron has them all, so we would be nowhere here without Ron. So Ron, thank you so much. So the good news is that's the end of the formal speeches. We can get on now to the safety side of this, which is one of the main reasons, or the main reason we're here. So to start it off, I would like to bring up Kathy Lasby, and she's going to do the site layout presentation, and then we'll go from there. Thank you. Do you have your agenda?
Yeah.
Because you can just start introducing.
Oh, I didn't bring it up with me.
Okay.
He's Vanna.
You two should keep your day jobs. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and it's great to see so many here. Unlike our previous speakers, I'm not in the least bit surprised to see this crowd because I knew you'd be here. I knew that with the support and all the committee meetings that you've had, I knew that your enthusiasm would spread over to this morning and we'd have a great turnout today. This is I think this is my 14th volunteer orientation. And what I love best about it is when you walk into the tent and it's just so alive with enthusiasm because we're about to set off on this journey to make everything that we've talked about into a reality. So thank you. I think the thing that you're going to enjoy most about the IPM are the people that you meet. And that's something that will stay with you forever. So thank you. I'd urge you, though, to remember, and I started this quote years ago, and I'm going to use this when I write my book, and it's going to be called 5 Days in a Farmer's Field. And that's exactly what we are. We're going to take Earl and Ann's fields, and we're going to turn them into this wonderful, dynamic, tented city and RV park that will stay with us forever. But keep in mind, we want to return that land to exactly the way we found it. So as keepers of the land, we need to make sure that we do that. So have fun while you're doing this, but keep in mind that it's all about returning to where we were. So I've been asked to just give you a little outline of the tented city. First of all, we build it like a shopping center. So we want to have anchors on every corner. So, can I take that with me, Gary? Oh, okay. So, yeah. There's always a comedian. So if you look down here, this is Gillespie Lane. And this is County Road 109. So over here in the corner here, this anchor is, well, we've got lots of anchors along here because this is the CKNX Event Center. And over here you'll see that we've put in a big tent that's where the musical ride horses will be stalled, as well as the jousting horses will also be there. Our auctioneers challenge will be in this area. So that's going to be a really active area. Then Ron mentioned the county display. It's magnificent already, and I know they're not finished. So that's another anchor. And of course, we always depend on Lifestyles and the quilt tent to be an anchor in that corner. Antiques is also, this is going to be long. Antiques and Historical, extremely strong anchor for any event that we do. So they're in this corner. The Ram Rodeo, also another strong feature in this corner. And I guess that's the four corners. So,
Is that the final furrow?
No, the final furrow, the final furrow called the lounge is right here. Hydro One Education Center is also another really strong anchor for us. And as Ron said, it's right outside the door here. And then we try to take all the many varied features that we have and try to group them without them being competition to one another. So on this street, we've got our rural living tents, our indoor displays, and then this is all rural living exhibitors. We have a really strong display here from Pike Lake. They've taken the whole block to display their RV units. And then on this one, we've got some of our commercial exhibitors. This is kind of Third Street is what we would consider the main street. Mutual Square, this is where the souvenir tent is, the future IPMs, the main stage, they're all in this square. And then we get into the farming. So this is all machinery and farming. This continues with machinery and farming. We've got our Farming for the Future tent here, our focus on youth. Wellington 4-H have done a fabulous job for us, working with us in this tent. You'll really enjoy that. Our speakers bureau is going to be in the center here with a new tent, so we've expanded that area. Then we get up into the wood area as well. So we've tried to group things again without making them competitive. And I think it's easy to walk the streets. We have 5 streets this year instead of 6, so they're very long. So when you go out there, you're going to see that you're going to walk for some distance to get to the other end. So any questions on the map? Anything that I can try? What is considered the main gate? One of the first presidents that I worked with, I referred to the main gate, and I think it was the only time he got mad at me, and he said, there is no main gate, they're all main gates. So, but I can't answer your question. This is going to be a busy gate down here at Gate 1 off County Road 109. It's also going to be our accessibility gate. We have one exhibitor who is renting motorized scooters, and he is close to that gate in order to make those rentals. We do work with him with a 2-way radio system so that he can get to the gates and pick up people. So that's a gate. Up here is education. That is specifically for the students coming in. We want to keep as few general public from coming in that gate as possible, just for the safety of our students. Gate 2 is the RV gate, so it's just outside the back of the tent here for convenience for our RV visitors. Over here is Gate 3 and Gate 4, and that will come from we have a very large 300-acre parking field off in this direction, and these people will all come in here. We have helicopter rides, which I forgot to mention, and they will be right outside Gate 4. Gate 5 is coming in off Gillespie Lane, and it's the only entrance that a vehicle can come in. So you have to have a red parking pass to get in Gate 5, but that's the only vehicle entrance. And again, that's done for safety purposes. So I'm not really sure how to answer your question. Gates 1, 3, and 4 will be very busy gates. Correct. Gate 4. The Queen bus. I don't know that we've dealt with that, Mr. Chairman.
I'll mark it down. I'll get back to you, Mary Lou.
Any other questions? Yes. No, they'll have to come in Gate 5. Yep. Yep. Our people at Gate 5 are really common sense people, so that if they see a truck and trailer coming in with some cattle in it, they know that they're not trying to sneak those cattle in without paying. So they'll let you in if that's a problem. So yes, but again, Gate 5 is the only way you can get a vehicle in, so they have to come that way. Any other questions? What gate do the plowmen come in? The plowmen will come in. Tractor Park is sort of down here. It's beyond Tented City, but right beside Tented City, and there's a special entrance for tractor plowmen to come into. Sorry? Where is this tent on this map? It's not. Because this is only Tented City. It is right next door to education. So up, stop it. Up, really, this is the start of the RV park right here. And this is the gate that you would go from Tented City to RV back again. Any other questions?
Handicap parking.
On. Handicap parking is going to be right along Gillespie Lane, right in here. Like I said, they need to keep their day job. Any other questions? So just my final comment, there is a map in the book if you have any questions. The rest of my staff are moving onto the site on Monday, so we'll all be over in the OPA site office. If we can help you in any way, we would be happy to. There's no dumb questions, we sometimes have some dumb answers or some that take a little longer to get to you, but where are the volunteers parking? Yeah, we've actually made some slight of adjustment to that. We've got some extra land back here to get you closer to the site. So you're going to park just beyond gate 4. So there's some extra land back there that we're going to be able to use. Do you need a sticker? That will be considered green sticker parking. So your committee chair has requested green sticker tickets for you, and we have those already. Committee chairs, if you find you need more of them, you just need to come to our office after Monday and we can get those for you. And on that note, Khalees and Quinn are down there at the far table. Quinn spent 2 days, I think, putting together packages for us for our passes and for the vests. We're happy to provide our volunteers with a vest. So we'd ask that each committee chair report to her at that end of the tent to pick up both your vests and your passes at the conclusion of the day. So, any questions? It doesn't show that on the map, but you are welcome to do that. That was the intent, that the street go right through based on how the setup is in antiques, because we want people to flow right into the antiques area. No, you're not obligated to do that, but I'd encourage you to do, because I think you'll get more traffic that way. That's why we wanted to put it as part of the street structure. Any other questions? If not, thank you very much. And now it's my pleasure to pass it over to Jeremy Gibson, who is going to talk to you about health and safety.
Sorry, just bear with me for a second. It's okay for height for you? Yep. That works. Good thing you brought the screen, huh? That works. Let me get out of your way here. Good morning, everybody. As mentioned, I'm Jeremy Gibson, head of health and safety. Basically, I'm just going to go through some key points. Everybody on their seats should have the Volunteer Safety Orientation Manual. Please read it. There's a lot of important information in there that basically covers everybody that's here and everybody that's going to be on the site, including all of our visitors. So please take your time and read through it. I know Minto Fire Chief Chris Harrow does have a few corrections in it. So please bear in mind and keep those in the back of your minds as well. Hopefully everybody can see this. It is the policy of the International Applying Match and Roll Expo that no job is so important that it cannot be done safely. Every reasonable effort will be made to ensure the health and safety of our volunteers This is our top priority, and I trust that you will join us in a personal commitment to make safety a way of life. This is the biggest thing about the plowing match. It's not only volunteers here, but we could have up to or more than 100,000 visitors. So safety all comes into the hands of all of our volunteers and making sure it goes off without a hitch. It is the responsibility of everybody involved in the event to conduct themselves in a manner that will not endanger himself or herself. Volunteers, staff, participants, or spectators. It is the responsibility of the organizing committee, staff members, and volunteers to conduct themselves in a manner that enhances and maximizes safety by following the guidelines while at the International Plowing Match. So these are some key points that you have to keep in mind. Again, it's in the safety manual. Protect event property. I know in the past plowing matches, there's been instances where straps or pegs or things off the tents have been taken away. That is the biggest safety concern I have, because these tents are structured that every single part of this tent has to be in place for it to be a safe structure. So if you see anything like that, please let myself know. Report any and all unsafe conditions or acts which you witnessed during the event to the International Plowing Match office, aka myself. Follow and enforce any safety directions that are publicly announced during the event. Again, there is a public service announcement that is in place if there is an emergency that everybody must know about. Know your emergency plan, which will be covered by Minto's fire chief here shortly, or no? Or a little bit? Likely not in full detail, but you'll get the gist of it. I will have incident reports. If you go to the center of your orientation manual, there is the tented city map that Kathy just pointed out. Mutual Square will house the lost person and family center. I will have incident reports in that tent if for any incidents that do happen during the match. This is the biggest one. No one shall work at the event while under the influence or impairment of physical or mental impairment of any medication, illegal drugs, or alcohol. If this is found, you will be ejected from the site immediately. Know and follow the violence and harassment policy. That is another big one. It is on the back of the manual. Please read through it and abide by it. Emergency response procedure. So Chief Harrell will be going through the radios just after this, and likely we'll have a few changes to this. But I'll go through the gist of it. So if you do have a radio, you'll be changing to channel 15. Biggest thing is, if there is an emergency, stay on channel 15. Do not go off that channel until you're told to. Stay on it until you're advised. So the biggest thing is to get the emergency rolling. Please, two biggest words is to say emergency, emergency. You can say come in, you can say whatever you want after that, just say emergency, emergency to get the, because we will have a dispatch that will dispatch the proper authorities to your emergency. Once this is done, follow the instructions of the command center and prepare to answer the following questions, such as location of the incident. So it can be anywhere in Tent City or it can be anywhere in the RV park. So please keep in mind on where you are in relation to the map and what tent you're at, things like that. The description of the incident, whether it's a first aid, there's a small fire, it could be anything. And then also your name and an alternate contact. So I'm assuming 99% of the people here will have a cell phone. We are asking you to use that in case of an emergency and provide that to the command center as a backup mode of communication. Again, another thing to hit home is do not switch channels until the responding agency arrives and you are directed to do so. So again, stay on that channel 15 until you're directed to change. Lost persons area. Again, that's in Mutual Square. In the lost persons tent will also be St. John's Ambulance and the family center as well. So little kids that need to be diapers changed, breastfeeding, things like that will be all in that tent. And then also the lost persons tent. The 2016 International Plowing Match and Roll Expo will be staffing the lost persons tent during the hours of the match. If a person becomes separated from their group or family and approaches a volunteer, the volunteer will escort that person to the actual lost persons tent. Don't let them out of your sight. Again, it's located in Mutual Square, so when you do have a chance, please take a walk and actually find the tent itself so you know exactly where it is. Because the faster you can get that person there, the faster the ball can get rolling to find, obviously, either find the person that's lost or the person that is lost, find the group that they're with. If a group or family member cannot find a person or any persons with an international plowing match radio, is to notify the lost person tent. So as soon as you find that either you know of a lost person or find the lost person. What channel is that one, Chris? 14? Okay, so if you do find a lost child, switch to channel 15 to advise the command center of that, and then we'll dispatch what we need to do. And stay on that channel again. Only the OPP can call an Amber Alert, so that'll be left in their hands. Biggest thing is to remind you, it's not only children that get lost, it could be anybody. It could be anyone from toddler age all the way up to elderly people. I know there's been cases where it's half and half. It could be, who knows? It could be anybody, so please keep that in mind. And again, time is, when it comes to a lost person, time is of an essence. It could be a medical issue, it could be anything. So please, as soon as anything comes up, let everybody know. So all of the people that will be running any type of equipment, so golf carts, gators, anything on the site, these are some key guidelines to follow. Drivers and operators must be trained or familiar with that piece of equipment. So if you've never driven a golf cart or a gator, please don't drive it unless you have the proper training by either the equipment people or myself. Drivers of any of the motorized vehicles must have a valid driver's license or be a minimum of 18 years of age. All drivers, operators must obey the posted signage. There will be stop signs within Tented City. So if you're on a motorized vehicle, please abide by those. And then also when you're operating the vehicles, you don't need to speed. A nice, slow, easy pace is all we need. No ride, if you are using the golf carts or the gators, this is the biggest thing, no rides. So if somebody comes by and asks you for a ride, if it's not another volunteer, don't give it to them, unless you've been directed by your chairperson. So any general public, you cannot give a ride to. That's too much liability within the plowing match itself. Yes. Yes, if you are operating one of the pieces of machinery, if it's another volunteer, that is fine, but if it's the general public or a visitor, no rides. All it takes is one little incident and then yeah, Just fueling, there are going to be some fueling, one fueling station. That is the only place. If you run out of gas, you will get a tow. You are not to bring the gas to the machine. You have to take the machine to the gas. So in closing, our goal for you as volunteers is to have a fun and enjoyable experience. Your success is our success. If you see something that is unsafe or a potential hazard, report it immediately to myself or the chairperson or security staff. As a reminder, there is a large portion of the Occupational Safety, Health and Safety Act that does apply to us. So please remember, you do have the right to refuse a task you believe to be unsafe or you haven't been properly trained to do so. If you do have any questions, feel free. My email is on the website, or find me anywhere in Tent City. During the match, I'll pretty much be everywhere, so feel free to track me down. Otherwise, I'll open. Sorry, just trying to think. That would be about it. Any questions? Jeremy Gibson. No, they are strictly over there. They will not be allowed into the actual tented city. It will be only the assigned equipment from our staging area. Any other questions? Yes. Unfortunately, I can't answer that. For the most part, usually if it's a wheelchair, they usually have somebody with them. Motorized scooters, we can do our best to get them around. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that they will work in some parts of the terrain. Yes? Pardon me? Oh, sorry. Last question was about wheelchairs and motorized scooters, about getting them around. We can do our best to accommodate, but again, we can't guarantee full access to everywhere unless we actually put a volunteer rate with them. And then the other question was about the RV area, bringing in their personal golf carts or gators or whatever else. That is a big no-no within Tent City. Yes?
The OPA is two people movers we purchased this year for moving around within Tent City.
Okay.
I have a little step in the back of the step on and off, so they'll be moving around through the site all the time.
Okay. So again, there's going to be two people movers available from the OPA, and they'll be going throughout the site throughout the day. Anything else? Yes. Yes. So what we have strategically placed throughout the map, Tent City, if you look on your Tent City map, there's a little box with a D on it. There will be a public access defibrillator in case of an emergency that you can access within these areas, and there will be signage so you know where they are. And also with that, there will be a first aid kit. Biggest thing is, if you are not familiar with actually performing first aid, do not perform first aid. Most of the time, you can actually create more issues than is required. Please wait for the appropriate agency to show up for that. With the defibrillators, there are instructions with them if you feel comfortable operating it. So if you look, there's a defibrillator down by gate 4. There will be one in antiques and historical display. There will be one in the County of Wellington area. And there is one in Mutual Square, which will I'm not quite sure which tent that'll be in. Do you know, Kathy? Okay, so that one will be within the Family Center itself. I think that was 1, 2, 3. So we have 4 within Tent City. So again, it will be paired with a first aid kit as well. Yes? Well, that's not, sorry, that I should be more clear. If you are not comfortable doing it, I personally don't want to put anybody in a position where they're gonna not be comfortable with it. Again, there's gonna be a lot of people around. Sure, there's gonna be likely somebody that'll step in to do it. But the first aid aspect of it, if you're not comfortable doing it as well. But the public access defibs, really easy to operate, and they're pretty much foolproof, right, Chris? Okay. Anything else? Yes. In which, sorry, I'm going to need more clarification in which. You will have to find somebody with a radio. If it's an emergency, you call 911. If it's an emergency, if it's a safety issue or a health issue, sorry, not really a health issue, but if it's a safety issue, find somebody with a radio and get them to radio myself. But if it's an emergency that requires either fire, police, or paramedics, call 911 right away. Yes? In the RV tuck shop. So that'll be in the garage right behind you. So there will be a defibrillator just actually right behind this tent in where the tuck shop will be. Do you know what? Being this the plowing match, you're talking for volunteers? That would be a good question. If you come over to the service area, there's plenty of trailers over there we can likely accommodate for cell phone charging. Yes?
Call 911 from here, they'll dispatch to London, and then they're going to dispatch back here. Isn't that a waste of time?
Nope, never waste of time.
But is there not a number that you could call right here on the...
No. If it's an emergency and you cannot get to a radio right away, call 911. There's very little lapse time between it going to London and coming back to us. Chief Harrow himself will be here on site, as well as 8 firemen during the day? Firefighters? Yep. I'll let Chris.
Just so we're clear, because it's in my presentation, but I want to make sure we're clear. All of our dispatches, so all emergency services are working seamlessly. OPP, paramedics, and us are all working together. So all of our dispatches will be briefed on what the plowing match actually is. So whether you're hitting dispatch in London or the ambulance is dispatched at Cambridge, we're dispatched at Guelph, they will all know what's going on. So if you say, I'm at the plowing match, international plowing match, and I have an emergency, they will know, okay? So it is the safest. If you don't have a radio or you're not sure, you can't find, just dial 911 and they will have an idea and they have the addresses of what's going on and we will be in contact with our dispatch centers, okay? So I just want to make sure that was clear that if in doubt, just dial 911 and it still will work, guaranteed, okay? So I'll touch on that a little bit more afterwards, but I just want to make sure.
Thanks, Chris. Anything else? Yes. Right. Yeah, only use the emergency if there's an actual health emergency, fire, security issue, well, depending on the security issue. If it's severe enough, use the emergency. But if it's a safety issue, either go through the channel. What channel? I'm sorry, I'm going to ask Chris this one. What channel am I going to be on? Will I be 15 as well? No. 10 City? Okay. So I'll be under the 10 City channel. So for safety issues, it'll go through me, and then I'll dispatch the right people to get that rectified. Anything else? Any more questions? Yes. So on the radios, there will be a little tag with all the channels listing what channel it's to be on. And the nice thing, Chris will go through the radios here shortly. There is a screen on them that actually spells out what channel it's actually on. So tent city, RV, emergency services, things like that. So there is a tag, and then also you can read it right on the screen. So for the gators and the golf carts that are going to be within Tenda City, that'll go through Paul Ziegler with the equipment and his volunteers. The fueling station is over in the service area, I believe, with the equipment. So if you need fuel, come back to the service area where you got your piece of equipment and refuel. Right behind landscaping. Perfect. I guess that would be it. Oh, I didn't change that. So up next will be our Minto Fire Chief, Chris. Oh, sorry. We're going to actually change it up a little bit. We're going to bring Rick Cinnamon up. He's in charge of security.
Thank you, Jeremy, and good morning, everyone. Again, we don't want to keep you all that long, but there are some important things to just go over about. Jeremy called it security. I like to call it site protection. And basically, I'm the chair of site protection. And with site protection, of course, comes security as one of the areas. And security is being provided to us this year by a company called Barber Collins. Barber Collins is out of Waterloo. They'll be providing a lot of the overnight security. During the day, Barber Collins will be very much involved in the lounge tent area. There'll be some security guards there, some identifiable security guards. I'd like to thank the Township of Minto, specifically Minto Fire. They're going to be on site as well too, so that's good to know. Another one, of course, is the County of Wellington OPP. They'll be on site as well, patrolling and, of course, making sure that everyone gets here safely to the match and, of course, off of the match and the parking areas as well too. The ambulance is going to be here. They'll be on site as well too. So I'd like to thank the County of Wellington for providing that, as well as the City of Guelph for allowing that to occur as well. St. John Ambulance, they'll be here, and of course they'll be posted out of the that mutual square, just right next to the lost persons tent as well. A couple of good questions about the use of the radios. And again, Chris, our fire chief, is going to go over that with you. The basic premise of all of this, of course, is safety. Not just the people that are coming to the match, but your safety as well too, and how you feel about providing that safe match. So again, those of you that get issued a radio, and if you need to use the radio, just always before you do that, and it's easy for me to say, but just take a breath, calm down, press the button to talk. Don't just immediately talk right away. Just press that button, wait even a second, a half a second. And I say that because then you're not going to get clipped. That's the term that we in protection or we in emergency services use. Because if you press and you immediately are talking, it kind of clips. The radio channel kind of has to open and then you can kind of talk. And then we get everything that you're trying to tell us. There'll be a volunteer in our communications tent, and of course they're going to be monitoring the channel. there's no point in giving you a phone number to call that person. It clogs everything up, because if you call that number, then no one else can call that number. So it's better to use the 911 system, because it doesn't clog up. And as Chris mentioned, or as our fire chief mentioned, the dispatch centers, even though they're in London or Guelph or Cambridge, they know where this site is. And they'll make sure that the appropriate people get dispatched to where you need them. So if you have a radio, use the radio. If you don't, use your cell phone, call 911, tell them where you are, and we'll get somebody to you. That's about all that I have to say. I hope that we're never going to have to use it. I know that isn't going to occur. However, we can always hope. And if we do have to use it, you folks know that there are people behind you that will assist you. And that's the main thing that we're trying to provide. So again, if something occurs, just take your time, calm down, just take that little extra second, and you'll see how it helps you as well too. So please enjoy yourselves. Make sure that all the visitors that come enjoy themselves as well. And we're there to help you. You'll see the fire department around. You'll see the paramedics around. You'll see the police around as well too. And again, reach out and touch them if you need to. On that note, I think I'll turn it over to Chris. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Rick. If you're going to reach out and touch, just shake our hands. Don't reach out and hit us, please. That's all I ask. And that we have to refer to the violence and harassment policy for that you can't do that. For those that don't know me, as my predecessor said, my name is Chris Harrow. You can, by all means, just call me Chris. You don't have to call me chief or fire chief or anything like that. But I'm just happy to be here, happy to be part of the match, and happy to see so many people out here. I'm the last one standing in front of snacks and all that stuff, so I'm going to keep it as brief as I can. But a lot of the manual you'll see that you have is to deal with the emergency plan. And that's just quickly what I want to review and what I want to talk about is our emergency plan. So everybody has responsibility in each area under the emergency plan. So if you're in parking, anywhere you are, you have a responsibility. And the responsibility isn't to you hear the emergency over the PA system and to run as fast as you can to the gate and get out before everyone else, okay? That's our job. We run away as fast as we can. If you see us running, then follow us because there's something bad going to happen. But so that's kind of our motto in the fire department. If you see a firefighter running for the gate, you better follow him because... But you have a job as a volunteer, and that's what kind of the whole scope of the emergency plan is. If for whatever reason the emergency control group, which is a fancy term for all of us sitting around making the decisions with the OPA, decide that we have to evacuate the grounds because of severe weather or something coming in, we ask that everybody stay calm and help us out to evacuate the site. I'm not going to go into detail how we're going to do it because we can plan it the best we can, and the plan goes for a crap because something blocks something and we have to do it. So we will guide you through an evacuation if it needs to occur. But as Rick said, the biggest thing is just to stay calm, because if the people that are attending the match see the volunteers and all of us running around screaming, they're going to get really excited really fast. If they say the people that are volunteering to help us are screaming, then we're in trouble. So stay calm. We will guide you through where to evacuate the people through the gates and how we're going to evacuate them onto the roads, okay? So that's the biggest thing. But just know that wherever you are, you do have a role in the emergency plan to evacuate your area, okay? Each chairperson is going to get a little bit more briefing on Monday night at the chairs meeting that we'll go over with what kind of your responsibility is in the plan for each area, that your chairperson will have a bigger thing. So what did I do now, please? No, I got a mouse, see? Cleese works Minto Fire, everybody knows, and usually when it comes to technical stuff, she's right there saying, yeah, you don't know what you're doing, so I think I figured this one out all on my own, ha ha ha. So the other part of it is, if there is a severe weather event that comes through and we need to organize to search for patients, victims, whatever we want to term, you will do so under our guidance, and we will organize and we will get people out in teams and we will work together. So again, stay calm, stay in your area, follow the directions of the emergency services, and we will guide you through either a search or an evacuation. Okay? As we said, and the most important thing that you're going to remember, in each radio, and I have a radio right here, each radio will have a card attached to the microphone. All right, and it will have all the channel listings, which I'll go through in a minute. But channel 15 is the emergency channel. So there's a button there's a dial on the top. The dial is going to be your volume, which is pretty easy. Turn it off, turn it up. Then the next one is just your channel selector. There's a big screen, which I'll show you pictures of in a minute, that you can toggle through, and it'll say channel 15 emergency. That's the one that you're going to turn to if you come across something in the match. We simplified it in the book. In your manual, it talks about emergency, emergency police, emergency paramedics. Don't worry about that. All we want is you to get on the channel 15 and say emergency, emergency. If you want to say I'm in emergency in the quilt area, in the historical area, that's fine. But just as long as you say emergency, emergency, we will answer you. And we'll say, go ahead, what is your emergency? And we'll walk you through a bunch of questions to get the information, as Jeremy said, that we can send the appropriate resources. We're not expecting you to say, I need police, I need fire, I need ambulance, because we're all working together, and we might send you a golf cart with a firefighter and a police officer in it. Or we might send you a paramedic and a police officer. We're gonna split up, we're gonna spread out amongst the match, so we'll send whoever we think and whoever we have closest to help you with that emergency right away, okay? So just channel 15, emergency, we will answer you and we will walk you through the questions to figure out where you are, what your emergency is, and how we're going to deal with it. Okay, so just nice and simple. As Rick said, stay calm and just answer that on the radio and answer the questions as we go. In your manuals, you will see the question that Jeremy talked about. When we went to print with the manuals, the one card that we had letters, but the numbers, the radios, channels are in numbers. So that's one of the big changes, that we don't have letters, they're all numbered on here. You will speak to dispatch and prepare to give your answers to your location and type of emergency, as I said. You're going to say emergency dispatch, this is your name, emergency, please come in. And then we will walk through. Just the biggest thing, as we said, when you get to your area of where you're going to be volunteering, know what your area is called and what your location is. So if you're helping in parking, know that you're in parking lot whatever, okay? That's where you're working for the day. So that if you do have to call 911 or use a radio, you can say, I'm in parking lot X, okay? Or I'm in the historical display, or I'm working here. Because that'll save a lot of time when you're asked, where are we? And you have to turn and ask, I don't know, where are we? So if you know your location, where you're working for that day, or where you are, that's the best information you can have in mind. Again, we'll send the proper resources, and then after the call, or after we get there and we help you out, we will say you can switch back to your normal channel. Oh, I spoke too soon, I almost broke it. So that's very hard to see on an angle, but so like channel 3, that's what the radios look like, and that's what the screen looks like. Nice big print, nice letters that says channel, so channel 3 is RV park. So the RV park will work on channel 3. Again, there will be cards that'll tell you. Tented City is channel 4. Channel 1 is the IPM. These are just examples, I'm not going to go through them all. And there's channel 15, and it says emergency right on it. So this is a copy of the card, and this is the first 4, and I'll go through it quickly in a minute. You don't have to remember this. You will get the cards with, on the right-hand side, telling you which groups are on that channel. Jan Lemon is the chair of the communications. Because I'm known as a windbag and like to talk, she said I could talk. She didn't want to have to get up and talk, so I'm doing this part for her. When you get the radios, we will brief each chair, but the chair people are to go and sign the radios out. If you are a heavy radio user, so for example, Tenant City, you might be assigned a bank charger for that week, and it will be your responsibility to look after your radios. If you're a group that only uses a couple radios a day, you will come see Jan and her helpers, and you will sign the radios out from her, take them for the day, and then you'll take them back and sign them back in, just so that they can charge at night. Okay? But we'll review that more in depth with the chairs to make sure that they're comfortable with how to sign the radios and how to have them. So channel 1, as I said, is IPM. And this is exactly what the card's going to look like. And on the right-hand side, it tells you the opening and closing ceremonies, information booths, the chairman and secretary, and the IPM office. That's who's all on channel 1. Channel 2 would be gates, which is gates and tickets. If you're a smaller group and you're not on this list, we will put you in a channel somewhere to make sure that you're good. Like Jeremy, you're in Tented City, and I don't know if it says health and safety. Channel 3 is RV park, the greeters and guides, the RV park. And the tractor park is also on there during the week, because once the RVs get moved in, there's not going to be as much chatter on that. Tented Cities Channel 4, which is, I love that term, garbology. It's the first time I've ever heard of garbology, but that's pretty cool. And Tented City and the water department's on there. 5 is transportation, which is parking and traffic, and the wagon tours will be on Channel 5. OPA is Channel 6, which is the horse plowing lunches, OPA, plowing land, and Queen of the Furrow is all on Channel 6. Channel 7 is historical. Channel 8 is the education. Channel 9 is lifestyles. Channel 10 is the volunteers, which is marketing and all the volunteers. Channel 11 is the county, but the county's not going to be a heavy radio user. The screen says county, but the health unit and site protection, which is the security company, are probably going to operate off Channel 11. 12 is the entertainment tent, which is the lounge, the special features, and the VIP tents and entertainers. 13 is communications, which is the parades and the information booths. 14 and 15 have to do with emergency and lost child. So each committee is responsible for the radios. For the larger ones, they said you're going to get a bank charger, and they'll be yours for the week. You're responsible to plug them in your area, charge them, and take them back after the match is over. For the smaller ones, you're going to see Jan in the communication tent, the communications trailer. The communications trailer and us will be located off of that service entrance on Gillespie Lane. So the main entrance in there now, where everybody's coming in and out of, where Kathy talked about all the trucks and trailers and all that, we're right beside that. So the radios will be located there. All of the apparatus for the fire department, the paramedics, and the police will all be on that side too. Okay? As I say to my police friends, we'll be the area with all the donuts. So, sorry, Rick, I couldn't. That's a running joke because of all our chair people and all of his retired OPP officers that have done a great job. They just keep giving me more retired OPP officers. I didn't realize that our community had so many retired OPP officers. I can't wait to get there someday. So, this is very important. Emergency services dispatch. So when you call in and say emergency, emergency, and we radio back, that is an operation from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which will cover most of you. But for the entertainment, this area and that operate after 7 o'clock, any emergency is 911. Okay? So we're only staffed from 7 to 7 on site. After 7 o'clock, 911. There will be site protection. There will be OPP on site 24 hours. But there will not be someone to answer that emergency channel. So again, after 7 p.m. at night, it's 911 to get us out here. Okay? And if in doubt, I can't reiterate this enough. If in doubt and you don't know how to operate the radio, you're not comfortable with it, 911. All right? If you have the radio and you are not sure if it constitutes an emergency, or should I call, Jeremy on Health and Safety Channel, or what should I do? Just call emergency, and we'll figure out whether it's an emergency or not. The key thing is turn to that channel and emergency. If you have a lost person, a child or whoever, you can call that in as an emergency, I have a lost person. And we will send OPP resources to your location to help escort them and start the process quick. Okay? As Jeremy said, if you want to escort them to the lost persons tent in Mutual Square, that's okay. But if you don't feel comfortable or you're a long way from there, you can call emergency, and we will send you resources to help you deal with that as fast as we can. Okay, so if in doubt, it's not a bad thing. We're not going to come and slap you on the hand and say, don't ever do that again. I would rather you call us and interrupt our donut eating, okay, to come and see you find folks and help you out, okay? The firefighters, we don't eat donuts. We have fruit and vegetables coming. So, you're going to see us out and about. The reason I wore this today, my uniform today, is because, not because I like to, but because this is we're all going to be all in dark blues. So the firefighters will be in this, the paramedics are dark blues, the St. John ambulance in the Mutual Square in dark blue. OPP, everybody knows what an OPP officer looks like when they stop you and roll down your window. They wear dark blues, okay? So this is what we're going to be in uniform looking like this. So if you see somebody like this is what we will all look like. We'll have different shoulder flashes. But you can stop us, and we will help you with whatever we can, okay? Be careful with the radios. Please they don't do well. These are the same radios we use in the fire department, and I know for a fact they don't do well when they get thrown or dropped. Our firefighters like to do that sometimes. So clip them on your belt, take care of them. It's a simple push to talk button here. Okay? That's the busy signal. If you get that signal, that means that there's too many people talking, and that is a bad thing. The go-ahead signal is, after you hear that little chime, then you can start talking. So it's a little mechanism that's built in there that's really good, is it gets you onto the system, but it slows you down because you have to wait for that little chime before you start talking. So it helps slow you down to start talking after that, which is a good thing, okay? So again, you'll hear the chime, then you can start talking, okay? So the last thing I'll say about the radios, and that Jan and I talked about, is the radios are there for you to use, to communicate. They're a very good tool. But please don't go and talk about the Blue Jays game the night before and how much they stunk last night because they got bombed. Or talk about what you want for lunch or how your night went last night, or, you know, the crazy person over here that we're trying to avoid and all that stuff. Just be brief, be concise with your messaging, and don't clog the system up. You might be on your channel and there's not much talk, but people are talking on all the other channels, and the system can only handle so much. So then you might get that busy signal because we have too many people talking, okay? It probably won't happen as long as we all just do our messaging and do that, okay? So that's all I have. I know it was an exciting presentation. Hopefully we do not have to see anybody. But the emergency plan's there, it's written, and we're going to be here to help as much as we can. So I'll take any questions, anybody, if you're still awake out there. Yep. Fire extinguishers, good point. Fire extinguishers are located in all the tents. You will see them hanging on poles and all that stuff once the tent and city's up. If you are trained in how to use a fire extinguisher, by all means you can try and grab a fire extinguisher and put the fire out. If you are not trained in a fire extinguisher and don't feel comfortable, the biggest thing is to evacuate the area and get the emergency call in quickly. Okay? And just the question, I'll come right to you, just the defibrillator question, as I said, I want to clarify that. Anybody with their CPR card now, you receive your training in defibs. Okay? That's what the public access defibrillation is all about. If you have a defibrillator, you have your CPR card, you've been training it, grab it, and please help out. Okay? Question? Yes? How many fire extinguishers per tent? It varies on each tent. Depending on the size of the tent and what's inside the tent, it's going to vary. So Cam Forbes, he's running outside the tent as our fire prevention officer. He's going to be going through with fire prevention officers, making sure the right amount of extinguishers are in each one. Most of the time, they are located near your exits. So any exit heading out of the tent, there will be a fire extinguisher located there. The best thing to do is when you get to your area where you're assigned is familiarize yourself before you start working, is look around, look where the exits are, look where the fire extinguishers are located. okay? And then kind of know how to evacuate the tent if they came to that, okay? Other questions? Yep. Are we going to take any text messages for 911? No. No, the text messaging for 911 is not here yet in this area, unfortunately. So yeah, you'll have to call. Okay? Yes? Yeah, security, us, we'll all have radios. Talking to Kathy, there is phone lines going into the communication trailer soon. So what we will do is when the phone numbers get established and what the communication phone number is, we will give the chairs for each section that phone number that they can hand out to you, that if you're out in a remote area, you can have the phone number to call the communications trailer if you don't have access to a radio. We don't have the numbers yet, but the chairmans for each division will get them. Okay? Other questions? Yep. Correct. Yes. It's non-smoking. Yet right. The whole match site is non-smoking. So we've had some rain, thank goodness. But yeah, non-smoking because of the regulations, and we don't want any fires. Please. Any other questions? Why am I standing in front of that light? What's that? RV park? Yes, we have one. Smoking in the RV park. That's a good question. I believe I have no idea. Inside the trailers only. Thank you. Our president of the OPA is inside your trailers only. No smoking outside. And there's no open fires in the camp RV site. Okay? No campfires. We do allow, I'm going to go to limb, but we do allow the propane fired stoves, or the fire rings on propane. Yes. Yeah, we do. No, you don't? You ban them too? I can't see anybody. No fires at all? Okay. Any other questions? Yes. We will get back to you on that because I'm not sure where the smoking areas are designated. I'm not sure. So I will ask your chairperson where the smoking designated areas, and they'll let you know. Yes. Yep. Yeah, there's a map. We will be using the same ones as the other, not like that. There's that one there. We will make sure that the gates are all the maps that we'll be using the day of it. We'll all be using the same ones. Yep. Yep. Right. We'll make sure that the chairman of each section has the proper maps to give to you, that when you get assigned that day that you have the proper map. As you can appreciate, the whole thing is evolving so fast that things change last minute because something come up or something changes with the site. So as things are changing, we'll make sure that right that day when you're assigned that you have the proper maps in your pockets, that is the one that we're all operating off the same plan. Thank you. Other questions? Yep. Yeah, propane barbecues are okay. We'll clarify that, and we'll talk to the RV party, and we'll clarify that and get that figured out. Other questions? Great, thank you. I appreciate your time, and as always, if you have any questions during the match, you know where we're going to be. We don't share the donuts, so you're just going to come and ask the questions.
Thanks very much, Chris. That was great. Thank you. Oh, Rick, you're a good man. Okay, we're about ready to wrap this up. There's just a couple of things I want to go over before we do. Some people thank Wendy and I for our hard work and everything we've done for volunteers, which we greatly appreciate. But there's no way we ever could have done this with our committee. And that's Jim Greer, Brooke McLean, Denise Ridalls, Tim McIntosh, and Jill McLean. They were a great bunch, and they came together, guys. If anybody didn't get their lanyard when you came in, or if you got missed in the rush or something, please pick it up. If you're here and you know there's one for your spouse, please pick that. You can take that with you, because the more we can do today, the less we have to do at the match. The souvenirs are over here. There's shirts and hats. If anybody still wants some of those, they're over there on the far side. And Paul Brown's group, the entertainment tent security, please meet in the far corner over here after this is over. And if you want to break into committees now, I know some have designated where they're going to be. If the chairs are here for those committees, just please stand up and let everybody know where you are, and then go to your chair and you can decide where you want to meet from there. Okay. Okay, just look for your chair or start yelling. So, the parade committee will be over here on my right, your left. So thank you all so much for... Exhibitor Gates, yes. Okay, you're going to be over there with tent security. Right over there, just anywhere. They'll find you. You're hard to miss, Terry. Okay, thank you all so much for coming. There is lots of food. There's lots of coffee, tea, water. Please, please have some more to eat. It's almost lunchtime. Thank you.
The preceding program was brought to you by Wightman TV and Bruce Telecom.